Hi everybody, this is Kevin from IEOR 190G. Topic is smartphone patent war. This week I'm continuing my analysis on U.S. patent RE 38104, which is the subject of an accusation by Oracle that Google essentially infringed on some of the technology in this patent through the creation of the Android mobile operating system. Now, just to keep in mind, this patent was originally had to do with Java, and this patent had to do with the invention of Java, and Oracle owns Java, so that's why Oracle is making this case. So this week I am going through claim number 1 as I did last week, but this time I'm looking for arguments why Google may not have infringed on anything within this patent. So let me go through the patent one more time just so you can remember what's in this patent. Very briefly, starting from the beginning and running through the claims, this patent says that in a computer system comprising a program in source code form, here's a method for generating executable code, and this method comprises of the following steps. First, it generates executable code in intermediate form for said program in source code with data references which are generated on a symbolic basis. Next, it interprets these instructions one at a time. After that, it resolves the symbolic references to corresponding numeric references, and it replaces these symbolic references with numeric references. And lastly, it obtains data from these numeric references, and that's essentially claim number 1. So, as you can tell, I don't know the technical background of you, the viewer, but to me, that's obviously very complicated stuff because I don't quite totally understand it. But so it was very difficult for me to go through and assess whether or not Google, the Android, operating system, infringed on this patent in any way. So I tried to do as much research as I can online to see if there were any people out there with opinions on whether or not Google infringed on this patent, and I did find one article. It's called Oracle's Case Further Undermined as Gosling Patent Topples, and this article is basically talking about how the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office gave a non-final rejection on this patent by Oracle. This happened about a month ago, and what happened was the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office essentially told Oracle that, look, your accusation is likely not valid, but we're giving you some time to present more evidence. And essentially, the author of this article took that piece of news and assessed the validity of the patent by saying this: looking at this patent, it boils down to the idea of symbolic resolution at runtime, which is what any interpreter does. A symbol is left embedded into the compiled code, i.e. within the intermediate language, and the symbol is resolved to a value before being executed by the virtual machine. The idea of a runtime symbol resolution in this form is how an interpreter works, and so the idea that this might be patentable just because the language is being run on a VM seems unlikely. And again, like the patent, this is a little hard for me to decode, but I think the bottom line that this opinion writer is basically making, and by the way, the link is going to be in the description of this video, but I think the bottom line is that this writer is basically saying, whether or not, Google may have infringed on every single piece of this claim, so it may be impossible to make a case for Google in saying, oh, Google didn't infringe on any of these claims, any of these elements within the claim. However, the claim itself and the entire patent itself isn't valid because this is simply how interpreters work. Taking symbolic references, turning them into numeric references, and executing on that data, that's just how an interpreter works. And the idea that this is something novel or patentable or conceptual could be wrong. So that's essentially, the conclusion that I've reached. That it might be impossible to say that Google didn't infringe on any of these elements. However, the patent itself has its faults. So that's all for this week. See you next week. Check out the description.